Hello and welcome to round 3 here in Azerbaijan at the Baku City Circuit. It is round 3 now and the drivers are beginning to get a feel for their competition in the championship. And as we can see, Jakey Boy taking the qualifying by the scruff of its neck at the moment. Currently pole by just over a second, although Skeeven has just gone pole having said that. And he's done that by 8/10, and Ollie just behind him actually. That was 8/10 slower than Skeeven. So we've got Raikkonen's actually done his lap on the softs, interestingly. We've got a yellow in sector 1 at the moment. So as you can see there, Skeeven, a 1:40.6, a very quick lap from him, the Ferrari driver. We've got some slower lap times coming in now from Taffy and Not So Happy Cal. It must have been a warm-up lap for the Mercedes driver. Unfortunately, we've only got 14 here. We're expecting possibly a 15th driver in the name of Francis Jessica, but we are not sure about that currently. So we'll wait and see if he joins later on. We're just watching Tezza go around at the moment. His first lap was quite a slow one, 1:43.6. Let's see if he can improve here. Because he's already over, just under 4/10 up on his time, so that's a good improvement. This castle section now where they tend to struggle a little bit. As you see, that double turn in there is going to cost him a bit of time. Go on board now through turn 13, 14 and 15. As you can see, the back end is a little bit twitchy. Quite wide on apex. As you can see here, the ballast on Tezza's car is clearly a bit too close to the rear because he's constantly having to correct for oversteer. So is he actually coming in? Yeah, he's actually coming in. So let's see if there's anyone else on the lap. With Showjaw's going around. Currently P7 with a 1:43.1. Wide on apex, and he's paid the cost for doing that, and he's actually lost a bit of his end plate there. As you can see on the right hand side, right end plate is missing. It's not going well for him at the moment. Taffy warming up for a lap. We've got Keegan coming into the pits now. Miles currently 5th. He's doing quite well actually. He had a decent qualifying last time out in Silverstone. So it'll be interesting to see how he does today. He would have been disappointed with himself after last week, having qualified fairly high up the order. I believe it was P7, P6 he started. And then on the first lap manages to lose it through Stowe Corner, so unfortunately that was the end of his race. And he's actually on a lap here, I believe. So we'll look at his first. No, he's definitely not on a lap. You can see there 3.5 seconds down. So who we've got out on track at the moment? Not So Happy Cow, Taffy and Miles. I think Not So Happy Cow's the only one on an actual lap, maybe? No, he's coming in as well. So, Taffy maybe? Nope, so we've actually, unless Fear is... No, Fear's on his out lap, so we haven't actually got anyone going around at the moment. There's a yellow in sector 1. I can only presume that is, oh, it's Lux. So Lux is actually out. I'm not sure how that's happened. It was just come out the pit lane or not. It was on a lap because the delta time is showing. Revving out in 7th gear. Late on the brakes. Quite a shallow exit, which will cost him time. This isn't going to be a competitive first sector, that's for sure. Another yellow in sector 1. 7 seconds off the pace. But currently Lux is our only driver out on track, actually setting a lap of sorts. We've got Raikkonen as well in his out lap. Just 3 minutes of qualifying remaining now. We'll look at the current championship standings. We've got Ollie on top of the table. He's on 40 points. Currently we've got his teammate Francis Jessica, who's still yet to join us, I believe. He's second on 30, joint with Jakey Boy, who's also on 30. Skeeven, of course, didn't make our first race in Singapore, and he won last time out in Silverstone. Very convincing win from him. He's on 25 points currently. And then just outside the promotion spots currently, we've got KLC on 15, we've got Keegan on 12, Veer on 11 points, so he's not too far away. And then we've got Tezza and Cooley both on 8. The only other scorers are Taffy on 7, Not So Happy Cow on 4, and Raikkonen on 2. The rest are yet to score points. So with 4 rounds, including this one, until the mid-season promotion spots are go, it's beginning to look a bit clearer who is going to be going up and who isn't. Of course, we've got till the end of the season to see who gets promoted then as well, as Raikkonen goes on to a flying lap now. Skeeven's also on a lap, so he's done. He's going out for another run. Actually, I'm not sure if Raikkonen is on a lap here, because he's coasting a little bit into the corners. You see they're adjusting his dials on the steering wheel. So we'll see what his delta time's like. Another yellow in sector 1. She seems to be coasting a little bit into the corners. We've got Keegan, who is out. Where's he retired? Nope, he's just called it a day. He's lost his wing somewhere. Not sure if anyone saw that, but it magically came back as well afterwards. So that's always good to see. So we're just waiting for the final cars to come through. Fear's just gone onto his lap. He's a bit wide at the first corner. Oh, has he retired here? I think, yep, he's retired, so he's just not happy with that at all. Jakey Boy just building up for a lap. There's Ollie. Ollie's also, he's just in the first sector at the moment. Where's Skeeven as well? Skeeven coming round into the final sector now. Quite a hefty bit of curb. Jakey's got to get his speed up. Because he's going to struggle to get the top speed otherwise. Is Skeeven going to improve? Ollie going round still. To the castle section now. Oh, and it's clean through there from Ollie. A little bit wide on Apex. It's a good run, and it's a 40.4 from Skeeven. As you can see there, he's maxing out, coming down the straight, so he did get the speed up. It's wide on Apex at turn 1 though. It is Ollie very aggressive through turn 15. And we'll see now if he can get a good run out of turn 16 down towards the start finish straight. What about the rear ballast through here? Can you balance it nicely? Ollie coming across the line now. It is a 1:41.034. So he's got second at the moment, unless Jakey improves. Let's have a look at the delta. We're not going to get a split. Oh, he's quite deep there. Going into turn 7 through the tricky castle section now. Oh, and he's clipped the wall on the right hand side. It's not going to stop him though. He's going to keep going. May have just got away with that. Coming into the tricky turn 15, downhill left-hander. Quite a lot of curb, that's alright, as long as he keeps the car straight. Bendel's currently P5, we've got Not So Happy Cow who's leagued up into 3rd place. Raikkonen currently 10th, we've just got him and Jakey going around at the moment. So you can see Raikkonen is actually coming, no he's not coming into the pits, he's just taking a very interesting line. As he comes across the line he goes P6, Jakey currently P4. Can he improve here? Best was a 1:41.7. He's gonna smash that, and is a 1:40.5, I believe that was, and he's gonna get P2. Not quite sure what the AI is up to there, but as you can see, it is Jakey Boy who takes second spot from Ollie Flavel in the end. So a rundown of the grid order for you. We've got Skeeven in the Ferrari on pole position, our 1:40.4. Just behind him, just over a tenth, we've got Jakey in the Toro Rosso. Row 2 is Ollie and Not So Happy Cow. 5th and 6th place is Bendel and Raikkonen. 7th and 8th is Miles and KLC. 9th place is Lux and Fear inside the top 10. We've got Showjaws 11th, Keegan 12th, Tez at 13th, and rounding off the pack in 14th place with a lap on the soft tyres is Taffy. So we're just going to quickly adjust the audio here. There we go. And we'll just wait for the drivers to complete their 2-minute grace period, and then we'll be off for our formation lap. So, big overtaking chances round Baku. There isn't many. Main one, of course, off the line will be turn 1. Anyone on the inside is going to get a much better chance at making an overtake purely because of how and Skeven's readied up there, so he will be receiving a 10-second penalty later on. Yeah, as I was saying, we've got overtaking opportunities into turn 1. Of course, that massive DRS stretch coming out of the kink at turn 20 is where it really starts, and you get the slipstream building up as well. So that's a big overtaking opportunity there down to turn 1. Turn 2 can be a sort of overtaking opportunity depending on how close you are from turn 1. First lap we may see a couple of moves there. Of course, that big inside sausage curb will put a lot of drivers off of going down the inside there. Turn 3 is another overtaking opportunity, of course, because we've got the DRS stretch just before that, so an overtake might be on the cards through there. Other than that, your best overtaking opportunity is probably down into turn 16 where the track widens up a little bit. That's probably the only 3 major overtaking spots we will see. We saw last season from Vanos, who isn't here with us this season, but turn 15 he made an outrageous move up the inside. So, you know, there is other overtaking spots available. Turn 4 could potentially be one. This is where Skeven's going through now, as you can see that big sausage curb on the inside. Maybe here into turn 5 as well. It's quite a wide corner, but the apex shortens and it gets a lot tighter as you go round into turn 6. Turn 7 I think is just far too quick and far too tight for anyone to make a move. So we haven't really got many overtaking opportunities. It's going to be mainly DRS and strategy based position gains today, and of course big incidents as well, because there was a massive, I say massive, it's a very, very short run in fact from the line to the first corner. So we'll see how well people get away, because that is very, very important for them, of course. A good start can mean the difference between winning a race and not winning a race, as we've seen before. As you see Skeven just getting the tyres nice and warm as they come down now into the final sector of their formation lap. Unfortunately for Skeven though, he will be receiving a 10-second time penalty because he did not adhere to the 2-minute grace period. So unfortunately for him, he will be penalised for that. We'll just make sure they're all coming round. Taffy's not too far behind. Could probably do with getting a little wiggle on as all the others come down to the grid. He will probably get removed from the formation lap if he doesn't hurry up. We have the leaders waiting on the grid now for him. We've got Tezza in the background there. And we're just waiting for these guys to get in position, and then we'll get underway here in Baku for round 3 of the F3 Championship. So just see Taffy rolling into position there. I think he's the only one starting on the soft tyres. And so it's a one-stop strategy this race, but it could be softs or mediums. We'll see what drivers go on to. So here we go then for the start of the Baku Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And away we go. It looks like Jakey might have got a good start there actually. Let's just have a little look down to turn 1. Jakey's going to make the move, and he's got past Skeven as he's pushing him wide, but Jakey's through. I'm not sure if Skeven's got damage there. There's a car lagging in the background. I believe that's Taffy. Further back down the order, we've got a couple of moves going on. I believe that's Not So Happy Cow. Oh, we've got a McLaren that's tagged by one of the Renaults. And as they all come down now into turn 3, we've got a Haas lagging all over the place. That's KLC. Down into turn 3 then. Jakey trying to go around the outside. He actually lost the position there. Nearly. He's going to hold the inside into turn 4. And he's going to give Skeven a little squeeze. We've got Ollie up into 3rd place. We've got a yellow in sector 1. That's Tezza, I believe. Not So Happy Cows had an incident as well as they come through into turn 5 and 6 now. Are we going to see any casualties in the castle section on first lap? Oh, we've got one of the red. I think he actually lost a bit of his wing. We've got a stop go penalty for Not So Happy Cow. And they all seem to be making it through pretty cleanly right now. Oh, and the Mercedes there, very close. One of the Renaults was quite close as well. But it looks to... I was just making sure they weren't going to go back on my... Yep, there we go. So everyone's made it through the castle section on lap 1 nice and cleanly. Lovely to see. Turn 15 is another one as we see a little... Oh, one of the Red Bulls slaps the wall. And he's got a massive bit of front wing damage. That was... who was that, actually? We've got... Oh, who's that? We've got a Sauber Rex, and that is Raikkonen. He's out of the race. Oh, no, he's not. Sorry, I thought one of his wheels had come off, but he's still going just about. He's not going to keep going if he does that, though. So, unfortunately for him, he is... struck... Yep, I think he may have caught it there. Nope, he's still trying to get it going. Meanwhile, Skeven's making a move down into turn 1 on Jakey. Jakey not defending the inside, and Skeven's going to go through, surely. Yep, there he is. Jakey not defending the inside, and he lets his potential promotion contender through. And we've got these top 3 again. Ollie just behind these two. Bendel in P4. What a brilliant race he's having so far. And we've got one of the McLarens there. It's Miles in P6. What a race he's having at the moment. He's got Fear just behind him. And Fear's going to have a look down into turn 3. No DRS, of course, yet. KLC lagging all over the place. And Miles is down the inside. Has he outbraked himself? Oh, he has. And he's in the wall. Miles has lost the front right end plate. We've got KLC that's lagging all over the place at the moment. And that's not going to be good for Fear because, of course, he's trying to get past him at the moment. On a track where he can't really get out of the way. Taffy's already into the points. He's P9. And we've got Show George who's pitted. He's 10th now on the mediums. Lux also on the mediums. Not So Happy Cow's come back out on the soft, so he's going for a 2-stop. The guys on the mediums can go to the end if they look after their tyres. Raikkonen serving a stop-go penalty by the looks of things. He's getting a front wing change and some soft tyres by the looks of it. We'll just double check on that. So, yep, he's going on to the soft tyres. But other than that, everyone else still out. And as you can see there, Skeven's already got a second gap between himself and Jakey Boy, who seems to be struggling a little bit. He was confident with his pace coming into the race. Putting it up into Rich maybe there. DRS will be active next lap. So when they come down into turn 2. So all these guys within DRS of each other at the moment, but I don't think any overtaking opportunities will arise. We've got Miles who's dropping even further back. He's got to be careful through here. And he's being very cautious. He's going to have to stop, unfortunately. Skeven sets the fastest lap of the race. And Taffy doing a decent job. P9 at the moment. Here's Miles going to pit, actually. Let's just have a little look. Yep, he is not going to hold out. So Keegan's actually catching Fear at the moment. We've got Not So Happy Cow off again. And he's lost a massive bit of front wing. Him and Lux have had a coming together, possibly. Lux's Renault looks okay, though. There's no immediate signs of damage. Whereas Not So Happy Cow, as you can see there, the entire front wing has gone. So we've already had... and Show George has left the session because of his front wing. So he's not having a good season at the moment. Yet to score a point. Miles in the pits, he's come back out on the super soft. So that's interesting. So he is going to go for the 2-stop. Taffy now up into P8, having jumped all the early stoppers. He's doing well there. Bendel in P4 is not too far behind the leaders, but he's got KLC, Fear and Keegan bearing down on him. Battle for the lead. Jakey just dropping off 1.5 seconds the gap now, and he's got Ollie closing in on the rear. Now, Ollie a little bit wide there. Coming out of the chicane following the castle section. That is I believe it's turn 11, that one. Turn 12, sorry. All about conserving. Oh, and a little bit of a touch of the wall on the right-hand side there. Jakey Boy dropping back ever more now. So let's have a look at the big gainers in the first instance. The top 3 stay the same. Bendel's up from 5th. And we've got Fear up from 10th. We've got Taffy all the way up from the back into 8th place. Keegan up from 12th into 7th. He's had a good start as well. And KLC coming up from 8th place. Big gain is Tesla just inside the points now. But of course he's stopped already, so he's not really going to be getting any higher than that, unfortunately. So at the moment, Skeven has just short of a 2-second gap. Ollie will be closing in through this next little section because he's got DRS. Jakey a little bit wide on exit of turn 2, and he might have lost a couple of tenths there. We see Ollie staying in the slipstream now. He's not going to be close enough to make a move, that's for sure. Under braking, he's got to be very cautious because, of course, if you outbrake yourself, it's runoff area or wall. There is no going wide here. Bendel's 7 seconds behind now. He's beginning to struggle a little bit. He's got half a front wing as well. That's why then. And KLC will be bearing down him now. Fear's lost the front left part of his wing as well. So whether he's going to stop or keep going, we'll find out. Keegan's lost his right side of his wing as well. So we've got a lot of early wing damage. And Taffy as well also has wing damage. Both the McLarens are intact for now. Lux, Raikkonen, and not so happy Cal. I think may have lost a little bit of wing. I'm not quite sure. And of course, Show George leaving the session. So Skeven leads the race by 2.2 seconds as they come down to the end of their 4th lap now. Jakey's struggling for pace, and he's tapped the wall again on the right-hand side out of turn 15. Beginning to get a bit edgy as the Toro Rosso driver. He's got Ollie just over a second behind him. He might be out of DRS range, although Ollie's got a better exit here. Is it going to be under a second? It may not be. And we'll, of course, have a little look if he gets DRS. So no, he's just out of DRS range, so he's not going to get it. And unfortunately for him, it is maybe a case of him dropping back now. He's closing a little bit here and there. Jakey very wide on apex, and he's really compromised himself through turn 1. And I feel like these two are going to be fighting till the flag, barring any major incidents. Got Bendel still soldiering on with half a front wing. Meanwhile, KLC has dropped Fear. Where is Fear actually? Fear's in the pits, so he's decided that that front wing is just too much. And he's going to stop now. He's putting on a set of medium tyres, so he believes he can push these to the end. Front wing, of course. Keegan as well, so he might have had a tangle with Fear. He might have pushed Fear into the wall, to be fair. Or vice versa. They've had it coming together, quite possibly. So we see Keegan... Oh, Miles is actually going to jump these two, because he's already stopped. Although he will have to stop again. But he is out in front of both the drivers of Keegan and Fear. So Fear back down to 9th place now. Taffy up into 6th place, doing a brilliant job. He's only lost a tiny bit of his wing. And as you can see, KLC very much suffering from lag at the moment. Bendel keeping it together for now. And we hop back on board with Ollie. We've got Jakey who's closed the gap down to Ski. I wonder if Skeven's had a little bit of a knock. Nope, he's just conserving his tyres at this stage of the race. He knows he can keep the gap to Jakey. And tyre wear, especially on the rears, is very important around here, because if you burn up your rears, you're going to be low on traction, especially in the first and middle sectors. There's a lot of low speed corners, and you need that rear tyre grip. You see now with the DRS. There you go, it's activated now. So he's probably going to close by about a 10th or so. I don't think he's really close enough to get any more time off him. Keep running a little bit wide again. He's got to be careful of that, because if he runs a bit further wide, he will pick up a warning. And he's running wide again coming out of turn 2, and he really doesn't want to be doing that, because that's going to compromise his exit. And as you can see there on the Delta, he's actually lost a few tenths to Ollie, even without the DRS, although of course he does actually have it. Closing under braking is Ollie, and he's very close to the back of the Toro Rosso now. A little bit of a back end twitch. Might have a look down into turn 5. Probably too far back though, to be honest. And Jakey will have to defend if Ollie can stay close enough through turns 15 and 16. The gap has gone up to 2.6 again, so Jakey has not helped himself here. He's got the gap down, and he's again touching the wall. Ollie very cautious through the castle section. Doesn't want to knock his wing by any means. So these two are going to be fighting for a while yet. We've got KLC and Taffy still going around fairly well for them. Miles up into P7 now. We've got Fear who's dropping off for Keegan a little bit. Lux and Raikkonen have got past Tezza, who's back in the pits again. He was struggling with rear stability early on, so I don't know if that's why. Not so happy Cal's jumped him, which means Tezza is now last officially. Skeven, a great overhead shot there of the Ferrari. He's got his own race to race now. As you can see, that gap has already gone up to 2.8. It was 1.8 beginning of the lap. Is Ollie going to be close enough for a move? I don't think so. He loses a bit of time in that middle sector, and that's really where he's losing his chance to overtake. It's the middle sector at the moment, so he's got to try and quicken that up a little bit as he has a little look to the inside of turn 2. Trying to not clip too much inside curb, and Jakey's made a mistake on exit. We could see a move here, depending on what these guys' setups are like. Jakey's going defensive. Ollie moving over to the right-hand side, doesn't think he can have a look. He actually has a little peek there up the inside, but he's not going to have a go yet. Jakey running wide, left, right and centre at the moment. He's lost another half a second to Skeev, and he's really starting to struggle now. Front wing looks okay, so it's not as if it's front wing damage that's holding him back. Just driver errors, and as you can see that, wide on apex again. We've got a move going on here for 11th place. That is Lux and Raikkonen. Miles picked up a time penalty, not quite sure how he's managed to do that already. These two, Raikkonen's car looks very unstable, but Lux has made a mistake as they come through the kink at 20. He has passed and he will get DRS, I think. Yep, there you go, DRS for Raikkonen as he goes past now. Oh, Lux is actually pitted, so he's actually made a mistake there. Ah, that's probably why he caught up so easily. As we skip back to Ollie. Oh my goodness, they've had a bit of a tangle through turn 15, quite possibly, but Ollie is so close now. He's just got to keep the car nice and settled through here. Make sure there's no twitches in the rear. Oh, and he's twitching around in the rear view mirrors of Jakey. We're actually going to go on board for this one. Jakey's gone very defensive. He's moving over to the right, back to the left now. He's got to pick a line soon. He's going to go onto the racing line. Ollie's going to look down the inside. He's not close enough though. He's quite patient with these moves, as Ollie. We saw him last week with him and Keegan. He's being held up like crazy, but he was very patient with his move and eventually got past and got the better of Keegan. As we might actually have a lapped car in front. And it is indeed, it is Lux. And Ollie may have let that chance go too easily. Maybe need to take a bit more of a gamble into turn 1, because he was very close to the back of Jakey. Unless he can actually stay with him, it's the only chance he's got now, really. Jakey's front wing still looks okay. Much better apex this time through turn 5. But Ollie forever in his rear view mirror. Very, very close to the back of Jakey. And of course Lux in front as well. Has got to get out of the way quickly. Not here because this is a very tight section, so he's going to have to get out of the way coming out of turn 12. As we come up through the castle section now. Through 11 and 12, and Lux is by no means letting them through just yet. He feels he's got the pace, so he might actually help Jakey here if he gets within a second. But I think it's a bit more than that at the moment. Oh, what's happened here with Ollie? He's gone into AI mode. So I'm not quite sure what's happened there. He's adjusted something and he's lost a lot of time. So whatever he's had to do there, whether his controller disconnected or what, I'm not quite sure. But he's lost a lot of time to Jakey, and that's going to damage him. Jakey might actually be within a second of Lux here. Lux is struggling. I think he might have just lost his front wing again. Yep, he has. He's going to have to pit again, Lux. He is really struggling at the moment. He's the Renault driver, and he's going to continue with what I can only describe as... Oh my goodness, what is he doing? He's almost taken out second place of Jakey. Skeeven, meanwhile, has gone flying up the field. We've got Taffy, sorry, Bendel, sorry, he's still going around in 4th place. He's lost a little bit more of his wing. KLC is... did it disconnect just there? Did we miss that? So that means Taffy could catch him. Taffy in seems to be lean at the moment. He's actually got DRS on. Oh, Jakey boy's gone! And how on earth has he done that? Oh my goodness, he's clipped the inside wall, and his wheel was just completely popped off. No front wing damage whatsoever. And that is gifted Ollie second place. Lux finally lets him through. And wow, I certainly wasn't expecting that. KLC's back. He's just seen Jakey, and oh my goodness, he's actually done very well to avoid the Toro Rosso there. And Taffy will pick up a healthy P5 at this stage of the race. He'll be very pleased with himself. See, the Toro Rosso has actually been moved now. Miles will go up into P6. So we've got a couple of big point scorers for these guys that maybe haven't seen these sort of points totals in a long time. So Ollie can now push on and catch Skeeven perhaps. Meanwhile, we haven't really got anyone else challenging for position. Everything's quite spaced out. So we tried to find out what happened to Jakey. As you can yeah, the closest we've really got is a 4-second gap at the moment, unfortunately. That's Raikkonen and Fear, I believe. And, nothing really at the moment. We'll wait till the pit stops, which could be now actually, for the front runners, of course. So we've got the top 5. Obviously, Taffy won't be stopping because he's on the softs. Although he might go onto the mediums because, of course, he's got front wing damage. But he might be able to see those softs later on into the race. We've got Fear actually quite a way ahead of Raikkonen. It's actually not so happy cow. Oh, and Fear gets a lot of curb. Very interesting braking there, sort of down changing and braking, making a very interesting sound. Taffy's into the pit, so he's finally decided, and he's crawling in. He would have lost so much time with that. He's engaged the pit limiter way earlier than he needed to. He's going to go onto the mediums, he's going to get a front wing change, and he's going to come back out, I'm going to guess around P10, maybe P11 if Tez is quick about it. But Taffy's on his way, so he might actually get out in front of Not So Happy Cow here. Raikkonen's coming down the pit straight now. He might actually get out in front of Raikkonen here because Raikkonen's only just crossed the start-finish line now. Taffy's just coming out the pits. And it's go. And it's going to be a race to turn 2. And Raikkonen's just got the momentum. Taffy going to have a look down the inside maybe. Oh, he thought about it. But he's going to play it safe. And he's got P9 at the moment. And he can pick off anyone in front of him that's got to stop again. Fear, of course, on these tyres from fairly early on. We've got a yellow in sector 2 and 3, and that is Lux out the race. And I'm not quite sure how he's managed that one. He's obviously hit the wall coming out of turn 15. He's just called it there. AI has parked him up, so we've already lost 3. We've lost 2 in 2 laps. No, 2 in 3 laps, sorry. And it means that Tezza is 1 place outside the points now. So almost everyone guaranteed points here today. We've got Skeven and Ollie into the pits from the lead. Ollie going on to a set of softs, I believe. Yep, and Skeven going out on a set of softs as well, although the game is showing us super softs on the screen. So he is actually on soft tyres, although we are seeing Red Bull super softs. Unfortunately, Bendel into the pits. He's going to get a front wing change as well. He's onto the soft tyres. KLZ promoted into... No, he's not. He only very momentarily. He's into the pits. He's going to get his softs on as well. And he's not had a front wing issue yet. Oh, and as I say that, we go on board with Miles. He's had another issue with the front wing, and he's going to have to stop again. Very slow into the pits again. Of course, they don't have to engage the pit limiter until they actually get to that line, so they're losing time all the time. They're not actually accelerating through that section. Taffy coming through in 9th place. He's going to jump Miles here quite easily because Miles is going to get a front wing change. Veer back up into P6 and Keegan into P5. Bendel's on for a podium at the moment, but he's got KLC who's bearing down on him now. You can see Miles dropping down on because of that pit stop. So this could be an interesting battle between these two we've got developing here. Watch, he's actually behind Keegan here. Oh no, he's not. Sorry, he's behind Showjords. He's about 8 seconds off of Keegan, so he won't be catching him anytime soon. We've got Taffy and Raikkonen and Not So Happy Cow all quite close together. Not So Happy Cow on the fastest tyre available, whereas Taffy in front of him is on the slowest, so we might see an overtake in the next few corners. And Fear being very careful not to cut that inside curb. Doesn't want to get a warning. KLC's back end looking a little bit twitchy. Down to 2nd gear, that's the first time for me seeing that. Obviously not very confident in the car, so he's really trying to slow it down. And Bendel's got decent pace here. He's actually keeping KLC at bay for now. And KLC's no slouch by any means. Not the quickest, but he's got some pace about him. Oh, and Keegan very twitchy through 18 there. So we see Fear coming through 18 and 19. He's got to be very careful not to lose the back end. He does that fairly well. Taffy still defending from Not So Happy Cow, and I would expect to move down to turn 1 with the extra grip that the Mercedes has right now on those tyres. So I can confirm that Jakey did clip the wall on the inside of turn 3. Unfortunately for him, that has ended his race. But we are going to see a move down to turn 1 because Taffy's got the straight line speed here. Magnificent stuff from the Red Bull driver. played that well, so not so happy Cal's going to have to wait again. Maybe down to turn 3. He has a little look into 2. He's not close enough though. He's quite slow on entry, but he's all about the exit, and he may get a chance now. Down into turn 3. He's alongside. Is Taffy going to let him go? Oh, and he's very close to Taffy actually. Taffy actually pulls out of it. That is P8 for Not So Happy Cal. He's got Raikkonen just ahead of him on the soft tyres. I would expect him to get past him fairly soon. He's actually going past his teammate Shojord, who's yet again failed to retire from the session. As Skeven sets the fastest lap of the race on those fresh soft tyres. So who have we got to see stops from again? We've got to see stops from potentially Fear and Keegan. Taffy has stopped. Not So Happy Cal will have to stop again, unfortunately. Tezza and Shojord's of course not actually in the session. So Not So Happy Cal and Tezza will have to stop again. Possibly Fear and Keegan. We'll see about that later on. Miles, of course, if he manages to keep his front wing on, won't have to stop again. And he looks clean at the moment. Taffy a little bit too aggressive through turn 15. It's alright though. And also Happy Cal beginning to pull a lead now. Miles gets a 5-second stop-go penalty for corner cutting. Where has he done that? Turn 15, so he must have significantly cut the corner there to get a 5-second. I've never seen that before with the sausage curb. Watching through here, he's quite flicky with the steering. Just compromising him a little bit. He's even very conservative now, just adjusting the fuel mix, as you can see there. Ollie very wide, and he's still trying to push to catch Skeven. I don't think it's going to be enough though. And Bendel's actually pulled another 4 seconds now on KLC, and that is why you can see there on the left hand side of his car, he does not have a front wing present. So that'll be why Bendel is pulling away with ease. But Bendel doing a great job for Red Bull at the moment, with a podium definitely on the cards. He could almost certainly get it in the bag right now. What he's got to do is keep it out the wall, and he's pretty much confirmed a podium. I don't think anyone behind him has the pace to catch him. We've got Keegan slightly further back. He's struggling with understeer, it looks like. Well, Fear's actually in AI mode, and I don't know if that's another uncharged controller there, maybe. Now 10 seconds behind Keegan, so he's lost quite a bit of time. Raikkonen and Taffy. Oh, Not So Happy Cal's back in the pits. So he's pitted again. He's put on the soft tyres, and he's lost his front wing again. It's really not going well for Not So Happy Cal. He had trouble in Singapore. He had trouble in Silverstone, and he's just really struggling to get to grips with the track. He's got decent pace, but he's just unable to keep it out the wall, and that's costing him dearly here. And he's actually nearly being lapped now by Skeven. With Ollie dropping further back. Early upshift from Skeven. Nice and tidy there. KLC soldiering on with that front wing, but I feel like he's not going to last very long, because here is Keegan now 2.4 seconds behind, and with a fully intact front wing. That is a key part of this. Tez is back in the pits as well, and we could see potentially 4 or 5 stops be made by some of these guys. Tez is already in for his second. Not So Happy Cal's already made his third, and we've only just gone past half distance in the race. Shojord's AI has made 3 stops as well, so that's quite an interesting one. Skeven goes fastest yet again on 1:43.5. Just playing a little game with himself at the moment. Kelsey is very looks in control at the moment with this front wing. He's doing pretty well. He's keeping Keegan behind him for the meantime, but of course this is where it really matters with the high downforce levels. Is he going to be able to cope? Let's have a look, because obviously we haven't run on board with him through this section yet. Is he struggling? Look for a little lift. No, he's doing quite well actually, to be fair. He's losing a little bit of time, but he could be losing a lot more, that's for sure. Just having to delay the upshifts a little bit. Miles is in the wall again, is he? Yep. Oh, that's the castle section. He lights up the rear tyres, and he needs to put it in reverse. There you go, Miles. So he will need to stop again. As I was saying, he needs to keep that front wing intact, but he's lost it. And Taffy going around P8 at the moment. Raikkonen actually catching Fear. Keegan not too far behind KLC though. So though Keegan might have the pace at the moment, of course his tyres have been on since lap 5, so by the time he gets to the end of the race and actually attempts to catch Bendor, I don't think it will be enough, unfortunately. A little bit deep. Oh, he snapped the front wing off, and that is what going a little bit too deep at Baku can cause. Piece of carbon fibre goes pinging off there. Skeven goes fastest again at 1:43.0. He's really starting to push himself now, the Ferrari driver. And we've got Raikkonen closing in on Fear. Fear had a little bit of a issue. No, he's just a little bit slow. I think maybe, yes, the front left. If you see, there's not quite as many flaps as there should be. And that is causing him to lose a lot of time at the moment. Raikkonen just sighting up the move now. He's getting in position. Doesn't want to cause a crash or any incidents. Having crashed really early on as well, Raikkonen. Having spun it at turn 15. He wants to just take his time now, really pick his moment. We'll go on board with Fear, just to see what the telemetry's like. Is there a little lift? No, to be fair to him, he was flat, so it's not causing him that much havoc at the moment. But is Raikkonen going to have a look down into turn 1 with the DRS in action? Here he comes. He's not using rich, that's for sure, only approaching 210. Could be hitting 215 quite easily with DRS and slipstream. Could see speeds up to 220 miles an hour at times, but he's definitely not in rich fuel mix at the moment, or he's got a very, very high downforce setup. I'm not quite sure yet. Into turn 3 we might see a move then. Is he still not enriched by the looks of it? No, not even hitting 200 miles an hour. So Fear keeping him behind for now, so he'll be happy with his current status. Got Keegan that is an incident again, and the front wing has completely gone now. So Fear's going to be right on him, and that's how close he is. And look at the gap that Keegan's conceded to KLC. He was just under a second behind, and he's now 15 seconds down. So that is quite a difference, unfortunately, for him. As we see there, Lux leaving the session, tiring earlier on. We're actually down to 11 runners. Showjords isn't present, and which means he won't be classified, which means there is 11 runners remaining. Miles is currently last out of those. We'll see if Fear stops again. We've got these three that are all sort of closing up to each other now. Keegan with that front wing is really struggling now, and he's going to struggle through the little kink at 17, 18, 19 and of course 20. Probably won't be too bad, but Keegan trying to keep the Mercedes behind him. Fear's got to be careful. Oh, that's well played by Keegan, to be fair to him. He's got out of the way before any mess was created. That's good sportsmanship from him there. Didn't try to hold the Mercedes up at all. Knew that he was slow. Now the DRS isn't active, as you can see there, and he's actually pitting Raikkonen. So that is interesting. You see that losing time all the way into the pit entry. Taffy is promoted into 6th place then, so maybe an outside chance of a podium if his teammate has a little bit of an incident. But Keegan, of course, following Raikkonen in. Also, Happy Cow's going to jump them. Tezza, I don't think we'll get past. He's too far behind. Miles is struggling still down at the back. We've got also Happy Cow now up to 7th place. Fear up into 5th, so he finished P5 last week. He's now in P5 as well. Can he try and close in on KLC, who's only got half a front wing? He's soldiering on though, is the Haas driver. He's got just over 8 laps to go now. And Skeven expanding his lead at the front as well. He's now got that gap up to 10 seconds over Ollie. So since Jakey's really, well, he put it in the wall, I think it's safe to say, and Ollie got past him. That was just the end of that, unfortunately. I don't think he even managed to make a stop in the end. So as you can see, the only person not to gain or lose a position is, of course, our pole man, Skeven. Lift there from KLC. Nope, he is flat. So we've got Fear 17 seconds behind. He's got quite a distance to make up, but with KLC's half wing, mind you, Fear has got that, of course, that left side of his wing a little bit damaged as well, so that may cause that effect. Sorry, Fear's on old tyres as well, so that is going to have an exaggerated effect on how much that's affecting him. Taffy's not too far behind Fear. So he could have a little go at Fear if he can get close enough. 3.5 is the gap. So not so happy cow behind him, who's again lost his front wing. Or parts of it anyway. We've got Raikkonen and Keegan not too far apart. These two, of course, pitted together. Having said that, Keegan is 9 seconds behind Raikkonen. Although it certainly doesn't look like... Oh, that's why, because there's Showjaw just in front. Taffy getting that gap down, though. He's plucking away at the moment. Under braking, nice and easy through turn 3. And he's caught another second to Fear, so Fear needs to really get a move on, because he's going to get taken by Taffy in a minute. And Taffy will be licking his lips at the opportunity now. 3 seconds is there. You see the Mercedes driver, followed by the Red Bull of Taffy. A little bit wider than Apex, but that's alright. Nothing too major. Keep it clean through the castle section and you'll be good to go. Gap down to 2.9. So looking ahead to next weekend, we've got the Belgian Grand Prix in Spa, of course, Spa-Francorchamps, and hopefully we might see some wet racing, because of course at the moment it is fairly miserable in quite a lot of Europe as such. We've got quite a lot of rain at the moment, quite a lot of cold weather, so hopefully if we get some rain it will be very interesting to see who comes out on top in that. It'll be our first wet race of the season, of course. After there was a threat of rain in Singapore, but it all dried up all of a sudden and all the rain had gone. So we'll see if Spa chooses to provide us with a bit of entertainment next weekend. Of course, last season we had James and Kuna Matata fighting there, and Fear unfortunately retired in that one as well, but he's going around a P5 at the moment. He's currently conceding about 8/10 a lap to Taffy. And he's really starting to struggle here. Taffy, meanwhile, is just keeping his nerve, plucking away at that gap. Picking tenths off here and there. He's got time, he's got 6 and a bit laps yet. He's got plenty of time to engineer a move here. It was last time out. Getting a couple of points for the team in Silverstone. But Fear going around a P5 is his best finish in F3, so he can equal that here today. I'm pretty sure he'll be very proud of himself. 2 5th places in a row. That's not too bad, is it? Getting your best finish and then matching that next week, especially on a track like Baku, where it is very, very difficult to maintain concentration throughout. But Raikkonen is actually catching Not So Happy Cow here. He's got the gap down to 2.1 now. He is on the super softs, is he? Yep, and Not So Happy Cow on the soft, so he's definitely faster at this stage of the race. 2.0 now, the gap. And Taffy is going to be within DRS range pretty shortly. And Taffy's actually got the gap to just over a second now. Raikkonen as well closing in. As we skip forward to the Red Bull, and that is the physical gap for you. Under a second now, so he's going to get DRS coming out of turn 2. He's just in the lead at the moment. Doing a good job though, Taffy. He's just got to be patient and wait for his time to make a move. If you can save fuel through here, it means you can really go for it on the straight. Fear really struggling, as you can see there, wide on apex. Taffy is struggling a little bit on exit. Raikkonen has dropped off as well, so I don't know if he's no, he's just had a little bit of a back end incident maybe. Of course, KLC is still in 4th place with half a front wing. So he's doing a good job there. And he could almost afford to pit, not quite. But if he really wanted to, he could play it safe, put a set of super softs on, and pit for a new front wing. And unfortunately for these two, they don't quite have that choice of privilege, because Not So Happy Cow was 8 seconds behind. So Fear's really got to take these to the end now if he wants any chance of a big points haul. We've got a yellow in sector 1. And just trying to see who that is. KLC has lost even more of his wing. Miles has gone! So it is Miles that's gone from the session. And he's put it down in the wall at turn 2. He's had enough. That is the end of his race. His teammate has half a front wing also. Raikkonen is beginning to catch Not So Happy Cow again. And there we go. Taffy goes through. He's gone deep though. We've just missed it, unfortunately. And thankfully, Taffy's led him back through, so we can see the overtake again. Just outbraked himself a little. Taffy not used to overtaking. He's more used to strategy overtake, so he doesn't tend to see much action. But he's giving Fear a run for his money here. Closes up on the Mercedes again. Isn't going to go for a move into 3. Quite a narrow corner. Doesn't want to clip the wall. So we have 10 runners now. Tesla being the last of them. Keegan currently with 2 points in the bag for Renault. Of course, his teammate Lux is already out of the race. Surely not through here. No, he's going to think better of it for now, Taffy. Through the castle section now. Oh, there's a little bit of lag there. As you can see, Taffy back right off. Two of possibly the laggiest people in the lobby, because obviously Fear coming from America and Taffy not having the best speeds we've heard. But hopefully these two will be fine. There won't be any lag issues between these two. Taffy well within DRS range. Fear might note he's not going to pick it up from Showjaws because his AI is well out of the way. And DRS detection is just a bit further up. It's actually after turn 19. So Taffy well within the reaches of a dizzying 5th place right now. Here he goes then, sighting up the move on Disabled Fear. Into turn 1, he's going to have a go, down on the brakes maybe, moves to the inside, and he's not quite confident enough to have a go just yet. He's got another 5 laps to do it. And Skeeven's not too far behind him, he's just had another fast lap, 42.9, that's a good pace he's setting actually at the moment. Really good pace from him. And he'll be in F2 in no time, and quite possibly into F1 pretty quickly as well actually. So Fear wide on exit, and there's a lot of carbon fibre from front wings there piled up at the exit of turn 3. Raikkonen closing in on Not So Happy Cow also. At the moment it is these two that are going at it. Taffy really needs to just sort of force the move here, because once he gets in front of Fear, Fear's going to struggle to keep with him with that damaged front wing. And of course Taffy on much fresher tyres, so this is going to be a case of can Fear actually hold not only Taffy behind him but the tyres together as well. So he swoop round the triple left-hander. Turns 11, 12 and 13. Sorry, 12, 13, 13, 14. And of course 15 there, down the hill, 16 now, and Taffy getting very close under braking, just under 4 tenths is the gap. Not So Happy Cow catching these two as well. Kelsey's got a healthy gap now. So I don't think he's quite got the stability coming through 18 and 19. Because he's not quite close enough, although he might have a go on the brakes again. He moves to the inside. Nope, he's not going to go for it. He's late with the manoeuvre. Turns in very late as well. It's going to cost him a couple of tenths or so. And it's all just... Raikkonen's dropped off again as well. So he keeps having these stages where he catches then drops off. He's actually let past Skeeven. That will probably be why. As you can see there, Skeeven's actually behind Not So Happy Cow and in front of Raikkonen. So he's actually lapping. He's going to lap 5th place, quite easily 4th if... Kelsey has an incident, but these two still going at it Oh, there's a Mercedes in the background. Who is that? That's Not So Happy Cow. And he's in the wall. And that is Raikkonen passed fairly easily, I'm afraid to say. It's going to be that way. Taffy's still in the dirty air of fear. He's got to try and get past as quick as he can, really. He might use Skeven to his advantage, actually, here. Raikkonen caught already 2 seconds on Not So Happy Cow as they follow through Skeven. He's just developing another train here at the moment. And there is Skeven. Not So Happy Cow struggling now, and this is going to be interesting down to turn 15 because obviously there's a lot of downforce required to get the brakes just as you want them. He's lost a lot of time. As you can see, Raikkonen's so close. See Taffy in front as well. These guys catching ever more. Well, Raikkonen will be anyway, and he's literally pushing the Mercedes through the corner, and he's not surely going to have a look through here. Nope. He's going to wait for Not So Happy Cow to make the mistake, which is probably going to be now. There you go, into the wall, out of the race. Goodbye, Not So Happy Cow. Raikkonen will be laughing to himself about that one. And I'm pretty sure he'll be glad he didn't go alongside. So Keegan will be promoted into 8th place. You can see there, just the front right just exploded on his suspension. Way too much on that. Taffy's just dropped off a little bit here, but he's got Skeven coming up behind him now. If he pushes on, Skeven a little bit sideways. He needs to get a move on here, Taffy, because he's going to lose time. So this is interesting now, because obviously Fear has got a bit of a gap. Now he's got to make this work to his advantage, because he's got to let Skeven through, probably within the next few corners, with the amount of speed that Skeven's got at the moment, and he's getting quite a lot of curb as well. So this isn't a battle for the lead, of course. Skeven is well in front of these guys. He's actually a lap up. So Fit is going to be playing this very dangerously because he's got Skeven right behind him. He might even receive a time penalty here. Look how close he is to the back of him. Oh, and he's let him through the castle section. Cheeky there from Fear. And he may have actually just made that work because Taffy is quite a bit further behind. Fear left it late though, to be fair. And he may have just benefited. I didn't see a prompt in the bottom left-hand corner, so he may have just got away with it there. Bendel was not too far ahead of these guys in terms of where Skeven is and what he can do, but he's going on to his last lap now. These guys, of course, a lap down. And Taffy's got Raikkonen right behind him, so look how much... Oh, he's tapped the rear left of Taffy. The Sauber driver, so eager to get past. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to have a three-way battle for 5th place because Fear is quite a bit up the road, but Raikkonen very nearly losing it there. As we see Skeven go on to his last lap, and he's lapped everyone up to 4th place. KLC, Bendel and Ollie, the only ones he hasn't lapped yet. Bendel's going to get a solid podium, good for him. And Taffy has lost part of his wing, no, and Raikkonen's surely going to get past here. He's not going to rush it. Pretty sure he doesn't know that Taffy's got a damaged wing, but he'll be sighting him up now. Taffy goes defensive very early, lets him through. Raikkonen says thank you very much, and Taffy will go, well, I could have probably done a little bit better there, but he's got P7 in the bag if he keeps it together. They're on the last lap now. Of course, these guys are lap down. Vera has managed to nurse this front wing all the way to the end, and good for him. KLC has done the exact same. Bendel has kept his front wing on this time, and of course, they're actually yet to go on to the final lap. Not So Happy Cow has left the session. And that is the end of his race. So close to the end. Taffy's soldiering on. He's got Keegan 12 seconds behind. I hope he doesn't lose that sort of time. So he keeps it together. We've got a yellow in sector 1. Who is that actually? That could be a number of people. There's not any of the big guys anyway. Ah, probably Tesla then. Just flick through just to see, to make sure everyone's in where we think they are. But it is Skeven who's coming around the last few corners. A lovely shot as they come into the last couple of kinks. He has dominated the field. A little bit of early pressure from Jakey Boy, who later put it in the wall, and we saw Skeven fly off into the distance. And he has a healthy gap of 16 seconds as the early celebrations weaving from left to right. And he claims another victory here. Another commanding victory in Baku. And it's going to be Ollie Flavel who's going to take home 2nd place. And he's got Bendel well over any sort of close distance. And of course, we've got our lapped cars that have finished. We've got Fear, Raikkonen and Taffy 5th, 6th and 7th. That's good points for them. Ollie takes home P2. We've got Bendel still coming through the middle sector in 3rd. We've got KLC 20 seconds behind him. We're just waiting for Keegan to cross the line. He's coming through now with no front wing yet again. He's going to come home P8. Teza's not too far behind. He's going to come in P9. And we only have 9 plus. Actually, Not So Happy Cow might get the final point depending on how many laps he completed. We've got Bendel and KLC just coming through the last sector now. Let's just have a quick look when Not So Happy Cow actually retired. It was lap 23, so I might just get it. But we'll see. And KLC's just got to keep it together for a couple of corners, and he's all good. But this man, Bendel, has had an exceptionally well-driven race, and he has blown away the opposition today with a podium spot. He'll be very happy with himself with that. That's his best ever finish, and he's done very well to get that podium today. Very well controlled race. He kept his front wing on for the second stint, thankfully. And KLC is going to come home in a very promising P4 as we're actually looking at Fear now. KLC has actually hit the wall several times going over the line. Not very professional from him, unfortunately, but it does get P4, and of course 12 points for him, so well done to KLC and of course our podium sitters. Skeeven, an exceptional performance today from the Ferrari driver. Probably couldn't have done much better, to be fair. Saw off early pressure from Jakey with ease and accelerated away from Ollie as if he was in a different class. As you can see, they're 7/10 quicker on the fastest lap overall. And just to confirm, that is Ollie 2nd, Bendel 3rd, KLC 4th, Disabled Fear in 5th, and not a lot of time penalties today, which is good to see. Of course, it is Baku, it is quite hard to cut a corner, but you can get the odd warning or two. Fear equals his best ever finish in F3 with another 5th place. Raikkonen finishes where he started in 6th. Fear all the way up from 10th place to finish in 5th. That's a very good points haul for him. Bendel, of course, with a promising qualifying, did even better in the race, getting 3rd place. That's brilliant from him. Really showed good pace here today. Taffy, of course, from last on the grid, finishing 7th. That's 6 points for him. Keegan, of course, no front wing. Teza also. Yet to see if Not So Happy Cow will actually get that point, because obviously Show Jaws wasn't actually present in the session. Other than that, it was a very, very dominant performance from Skeeven. Bendel, brilliant again. KLC, 4th place. Congratulations to him. And unfortunately to our DNFers, better luck next time. Well, that's it for now. We'll be back at the same time next week, 6 PM, or just after 6 PM, UK time, for the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. We'll be live from 6 PM there, so don't miss it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next week.